Hello, Nasdaq followers, and welcome to a special edition of Behind the Bell. I'm your host, Leanne Alfaro. Joining me today is Raquel Tamez. She is CEO of SHPE, ringing the closing bell today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Raquel, I'm so eager to learn a little bit more about your history. You have such a rich background with experience as being CEO, SVP, and General Counsel. Talk to us about your trajectory, what got you to today, and what got you into STEM.
Well, it seems like a long journey and trajectory so far. It's not been easy. There have been ups, downs, ins and outs. It's not been this, straight line. But it really started out of the hood in Houston, Texas. Grew up, my parents are immigrants. My dad was a migrant farm worker, and it was really about trying to get out of the hood. And I knew that education would be the way to do that. I also grew up with a sense of justice and thought law school, after going to the University of Texas, would be the right profession for me. And it's played out, and I'm fortunate and grateful to have pursued that career. And leadership roles, escalating leadership roles in my legal profession, and then ultimately had the opportunity to serve as the CEO of SHPE. And it was one of the best decisions that I've made. I've been in my role, serving as the CEO of SHPE for 3.5 years, and very proud of what my team and I have been able to accomplish in those 3.5 years. So I'm excited to share some of that with you.
On that note, what is SHPE's mission statement? Talk to us about how you plan to help the organization evolve and what your main goals are.
Sure. So SHPE is all about changing lives and empowering the Hispanic community to realize its fullest potential and to impact the world through STEM awareness, access, support, and development. And we've been doing that since 1974. The organization was born in a garage in East LA. It was the dream of 5 civil engineers. Fast forward 46 years, we're almost 14,000 active, engaged, passionate members, students and professionals pursuing studies and careers in STEM.
You shared an interesting stat on behalf of SHPE, and that's that while 18% of the US workforce is Latino, only 10% of these people actually hold these professional positions. For people who are in these roles and positions of power, how can they better help elevate the Latino community?
Well, first and foremost, by supporting professional societies like SHPE, as well as other sister organizations like NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, SWE, the Society of Women Engineers, ACES, which is American Indian Science and Engineers Society. I work very closely with the CEOs of those sister organizations. SHPE partners with its industry partners. We have an industry partnership council, some of the best companies in the world. They come to us. We are their premier resource for top talent, Hispanic top talent, for students and professionals in STEM, primarily in engineering. And not only are we a source of talent, we also work with those companies and organizations to support and further their efforts, their goals in diversity, inclusion, equity, and advocacy. We recently launched a new program at SHPE called SHPE Exchange, and it's all about supporting the ERGs and the BRGs at our partner companies. So we support with the recruitment, but we're also supporting with the retainment, the promotion, and advancement of Hispanics in STEM at our partner companies.
I like how you talk about the ecosystem and how SHPE considers not only recruitment, but also retainment. It's long-term thinking. Now, for allies who want to support the Latino community, what are the best ways to do so?
Well, it's learning about our community first and foremost by observing and listening, having the conversation. There are a lot of well-intentioned people out there wanting to do good work, and they want to move quickly, and I think that that's great. Organizations are signing statements of solidarity. Other companies are writing checks. I think it's important for those organizations to also look at their systems and their entire talent pipeline and talent lifeline from recruitment to retirement. But as far as allies, I mentioned I work very closely with sister organizations, NSBE, SWE, ACES. We came out with a statement of solidarity with a commitment to do more together. We do pursue grants, and in fact, we have a couple of grants within NSF together. As far as ERGs, I think Nasdaq is doing what is working with the Hispanic ERG, working with the Black ERG, working with the Women ERG, and I see that quite often with our partner companies, but just really making a concerted effort of being intentional with being inclusive. So we SHPE partners with OSTEM, which is Out in STEM, and we are working with them, and they're working with us to help build out SHPE's LGBTQ program and track at our convention. We are currently building and designing a program for persons with disabilities. We're calling it SHPE Ability. So we really try and walk the talk of diversity and inclusion at SHPE. We're trying to be more comprehensive and inclusive ourselves. If we say that diversity and inclusion is important, we have to role model that.
I like that, and leading by example. Now, let's shift a little bit to talk about personal narratives. Raquel, you've written about your personal narrative and how embracing some stereotypes has actually helped you advance in your career. How do you suggest that other people own their story, own their narrative to get ahead professionally?
Sure, absolutely. I've talked about having an identity crisis at the University of Texas to begin with, right? My parents are from Mexico, they're immigrants. I'd always referred to myself as Mexican American. I get to University of Texas and people are throwing all sorts of labels at me. Oh, you're Chicana, you're Tejana, you're Hispanic, you're Latina. I'm like, am I one of these, all of these, none of these? I actually had to take a Chicano politics class to figure it out and really understand the history of my own heritage and culture and the facts. So that was empowering. And over time, I've crystallized my identity, my self-identity. But recently, a white male executive had referred to me as a feisty Latina, and the context, the circumstances really took me aback, and it bothered me. And I reached out to one of my mentors, and he was concerned that I was going to be holding on to that, but not in a good way. And so my mentor asked if I was going to lean into being a feisty Latina. And I had to think about that. And where I ended up, where I landed was, yes, I'm going to be a feisty Latina. And I really used that to fuel what I do every day. It fuels what I do for SHPE, for my SHPTinas. SHPTinas are our female members, and the program, it's Igniting Latinas in STEM. And I encourage them to identify and to figure out what their feisty Latina is. But I also encourage our male members to support our SHPTinas and to support the feisty Latinas in their lives.
We look forward to following SHPE's trajectory throughout the next year. Raquel, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Behind the Bell. And Nasdaq followers, please stay tuned for more coverage coming to you from Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month right here on our channels. Until next time, we are signing off.